Thank you for being here. It's Thursday, March 24th. Let's land in an easy seat and start breathing deeply. And as you know, this week we've been exploring the third of 5 Yamas, which are the first of the 8-limbed path of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And this third Yama is Asteya, non-stealing. And something for us to perhaps contemplate today is non-stealing of resources. So our resources are not infinite, and we can make impacts by things as little as turning off the water when we're sudsing our hands or brushing our teeth, washing dishes, turning off lights when we leave the room, shopping in thrift stores for secondhand clothes. My whole outfit is thrifted, as well as carpooling, walking, using public transportation, so on and so forth. I'm sure there are countless other ways. Feel free to share if anything popped into your mind. But perhaps as you move through the day, you can do so with eyes aware of not stealing the resources around you. With that, we'll take a few full breaths, acknowledging our foundation, the very base of our bodies, the parts connected to the ground. Very natural time then to check in with a land acknowledgement. Acknowledging the indigenous people who lived on this land before us. They certainly lived with Asteya, respecting the natural resources. You might be thinking about the earth that you practice on as you root down and lift up through the crown of your head, striking that balance between effort and ease. If you'd like to chant Om, you may draw your hands together in front of your heart. Inhale deeply for one long vibration of sound. Release your hands to your knees and start to draw big circles with your chest. So imagining that you're slowly pulling your heart forwards and then backwards. As you inhale, draw the heart forward, shoulder blades can slide together. Maybe you pull your heart forwards and up. As you exhale, take it all to the back. Inhaling, you might lift your chin. Exhaling, you might tuck the chin towards the chest, core muscles engaged. And when it feels right, switch directions, keeping your awareness as best you can on your hip area. Thursdays, we do focus on the hips. So as we inhale and exhale in these big circles, hopefully you can feel some sensation, some stretch through your low back and hips. And return to center. Notice which leg you've had crossed in front. We'll be sure to cross the other one next. So noting that, bring your feet in front of you. Exploring Navasana boat pose. So you might put a block between your ankles or thighs. You might keep the other block handy if you'd like to set it on top of your legs. To start, we can all bring our hands back behind us, fingers pointing towards the hips, if that's available to you. That is a lot of flexion on the wrists, so maybe you rotate your hands or even come to knuckles. Draw your navel towards your spine. Really lengthen and lift your spine. Breathing here, there's already full body engagement, so you may stay right here. Maybe you're able to lift your toes off of the ground. If you keep your hands on the earth, imagine drawing your inner elbows together. That'll help engage upper body, shoulder blades sliding together. As the shoulder blades slide together, you might imagine if there is a flashlight in the center of your heart, tilting it up towards the sky just a bit more. Breathing deeply, maybe you start to lift your shins towards parallel to the earth. Maybe you bring your hands to your thighs instead. Option 2, set the other block on tops of your ankles and tops of your feet, spreading your toes wide. Core muscles engaged, breathing deeply, keeping in mind if you have any piriformis syndrome issues, you might be better served to lower to your forearms. That really helps isolate the abdominal muscles. If you lower down to your elbows and forearms, be sure that you're not slouching into your shoulders, rather pushing the ground away. Keeping the breath full wherever you're going. Maybe you release your hands, reaching to the distance. Maybe you reach your arms up. Wherever you are, 3, 2, 1, release. We can let our feet come out wide, arms rest on the legs, sit tall with an inhale, and exhale. Allow your spine to round, chin towards chest, and here you might slowly roll your head side to side. Let it feel good. Keep the jaw soft and the breath full. Now return to an easy seat, crossing the non-dominant or less dominant leg in front. As you're ready, draw big circles. I'll stay at this angle so you can see how I'm really taking the torso like a corkscrew all the way in a circle. Sometimes when I see folks do this in live classes, I see it really kind of coming from the chin, which is still movement. All movement is good, right? But if we can, draw the circles a little bigger. And switch directions when it feels right to you. Another breath or two. And return to sit tall. Plant both feet. Hands can come back behind you if that's helpful as you cross your right ankle over your left. If you prefer to lie on your back for figure 4, you can roll on down to your spine. Otherwise, we'll stay seated. Always choosing your own adventure. This is your personal practice. I'm a friendly guide. You can step your left heel a little closer to your hips if you'd like. That'll bring more sensation. You might sway your legs side to side. Maybe you stay still. I heard a saying from one of my teachers that when we're in stillness, we're not passive, we are receptive. And as you're ready, if you're reclined, you can stay as you are or sit back up. We'll slide the left leg long. Come to sit tall. Maybe if you've got a strap handy, you feel like looping it under the sole of your left foot. Keeping the right ankle on top of the left thigh if you can. And if that's not an option, just transition into Janu Shirshasana, right foot pressing into upper left thigh. You might put a block under your right leg to give you a little support so the knee is not just hanging out. And then we'll sit really tall, holding onto the strap. And as you breathe, you might begin to hinge forward any amount. It's no competition here. We're just here to breathe and see how the body feels. Every inhale, a chance to create space. Every exhale, a chance to let go. You might notice different sensations if you let the head hang heavy, dropping chin towards chest. I've heard this called nerve flossing before, so I don't know about for you, but for me, whenever I drop my chin towards my chest, I feel a lot of sensation light up all the way down the spine. So always moving cautiously with respect for the body. And as you're ready, release the strap, sit up tall. You can guide your right foot to the ground, left foot comes to the ground, hands back behind you. Let's transition to figure 4 on the other side. So again, if you prefer to recline on the spine, you can do that. I'll cue us to remain seated. Always feel empowered to do what serves you. You might step the right foot a little closer to your hips. Try to keep the spine long. You can sway your legs, movement, or find stillness, receptivity. There he is. Good morning, Toby. And after another breath or two, we'll transition, sending the right leg long. If you can, we'll keep the left ankle on top of the right thigh. I like to put the block under the left leg, so a little more support. And perhaps you wrap the strap under the sole of your right foot. Sit really tall. And then as you're ready, you may begin to hinge forward any amount. Look for those subtle sensations. That's one of the benefits, one of the endless benefits of yoga practice, is we can perhaps become more aware of subtle sensations in the body. That could serve us as a way of alerting us if things aren't quite right. And as you breathe, perhaps hinging forward, perhaps dropping the chin towards the chest, noticing what you feel. And keep breathing. If we ever move into a shape that limits or restricts our ability to breathe, be very aware of that, and you might choose to back out. Enjoy another slow cycle of breath here. And as you're ready, sit tall. Release the strap if you are using it. Release the block. Plant both feet. Hands can come back behind you. Legs can come back behind you if you can do that. Let the legs fall side to side. And now let's make our way into tabletop. Begin flexing your spine through cow and cat as you're ready. And since our emphasis on Thursdays is on hips, on your exhales, you might send your hips back in space, getting a little more stretch into the low back perhaps. On your inhale, crawl your heart forward like a transformative snake slithering forward on the mat. Shedding what you no longer need, leaving that behind. And we'll all meet in child's pose. You can stay like this if you'd like, or we'll take lateral spinal flexion. Full inhale. And exhale, walk your hands over to the right. Some people like to stack one hand on top of the other. As you get here, you might imagine drawing the left hip back and down. Full breath in. And as you exhale, return through neutral. And walk your hands over to the left with an exhale. Breathe deeply. See if you can feel the stretch in the very low back on the right side of your body. And then notice the left body. You might be able to even imagine it a little scrunched. As you're ready with your exhale, return to neutral. Inhale to rise up through tabletop, tucking your toes. Push the ground away so that we're spacious in the shoulders. And exhale, find Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You can pedal the feet. Maybe bend the knees really generously and wag the tail. Let your head and neck hang heavy. Step your left foot to the center of the mat. Keeping it back on the back of the mat where it is. Just switch it to the center and lift your right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Push the ground away. Bend your right knee and lift it towards the sky. Then see if you can reach your right toes towards your left hip. Opening up the right hip. You might look forward between your hands to try to keep your shoulders neutral. The right shoulder's probably popping up. That's okay. Do the best you can. Another big breath here. And then return to downward facing dog. Stepping the right foot towards the midline of the mat, and inhale, lift the left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Pushing the ground away. Lots of work in the shoulders here. Breathe. And as you're ready, bend the left knee. Then imagine bringing the left toes towards your right hip. Looking between the hands can help us neutralize the shoulders, dropping the left shoulder. Another big breath here. And then set the left foot down, returning to downward facing dog. Bend the knees really generously. Walk your hands back to meet the feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. You might interlace your hands and put them on the back of your head and neck. Maybe you sway side to side. Bird's eye view of your foundation so we can see the second and third toes are centered with the middle of the heel. You might even lift your toes, noticing how that might lift your arches. Release your hands if you have them clasped, and on an inhale, press into your feet, rise all the way up, reaching to the sky. Exhale, open your arms out wide, dropping them to your side. Inhale, float the arms back out wide, up, 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 spread your fingers wide. Keep breathing as you hold on to the right arm with your left hand. Pull the right arm up and then over to the left. So we're arcing banana shape. And you might stay just like this, or maybe you carefully step the right foot behind the left foot. maybe even over to the left side of the left foot. Lengthen your tailbone, really breathe deeply into the right side body and send your awareness to that whole hip area. Hopefully here you can feel a good stretch through the connective tissue. You might imagine lengthening your tailbone, dropping your tail to the ground. Big breath in. And as you're ready, return to neutral. Let's give the shoulders a break by dropping the arms and drawing some big circles with them. Notice which direction you drew circles and then go the opposite way. And then as you're ready, inhale, reach out and up, big stretch. Keep breathing here as you hold on to the left arm with the right hand, pulling it up and over to the right, feeling the stretch. It's also stretching deep abdominal muscles. You can stay just like this, or carefully step the left foot behind the right. Maybe even step the left foot all the way over to the pinky side edge of your right foot. And enjoy a few breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling, returning to neutral, floating the arms down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. As you land in Uttanasana, forward fold, walk your hands forward, returning to downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift the right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Look forward between your hands. Exhale, step or swing the right foot to meet the right thumb. Pivot your left heel down, heel to arch alignment. And on your inhale, cartwheel the arms up, finding Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. You can glance down and see that your shoulders are over your hips. You can glance down and see your right big toe on the inside of your right knee. That means you're engaging the gluteal muscles you want to be engaging. Fingertips drawing away from each other as just the head rotates to look over the right fingertips. Maybe you sink a little lower into the thigh. You can always adjust your stance if you need wider or less wide. You can stay here or flip your right palm to the sky. Inhale, reaching up and back. Send your awareness to the right hip area. Can you feel the stretch of the connective tissue? Another breath in. And exhale, return to Virabhadrasana 2. Hands to hips, straighten your right leg, pivot on the heel. Sorry, Dobie. Transitioning into goddess pose. So now our heels are pointed in, our toes and knees are pointed out. You can keep your hands on your hips to help you lengthen the low back as we squat down any amount. Hands might come to inner thighs now, helping us keep the legs open wide. Glancing down, hopefully the knees are going in the same direction as the toes. That is a cue for life, one of the many yoga cues that is a cue for life. You can bring your hands to your heart. You can reach your arms up and then draw them into goddess pose arms. Lengthen your low back, engage your core. Breathe deeply here and maybe you pulse a little. Lifting and lowering, keeping the knees pointing the same direction as the toes. Maybe you bring your hands to your inner thighs to help keep coaxing the thighs out wide. Another breath or two. And then hands to hips. We'll pivot the right heel back, transitioning into Virabhadrasana 2, the other direction. So now I'm bending into the left leg, setting up the alignment, and as I'm ready, reach the arms out wide. Big wingspan here. Shoulders over hips. Breath full. You can look over the left fingertips. As you're looking over the left fingertips, you can glance down and hopefully see the left big toe on the inside of the left knee. Maybe you sink a little lower into your left thigh. You could stay here or flip your left palm to the sky, reverse warrior, exalted warrior. Breathe deeply. Another full breath in and out. Breathing in and out, we return to Virabhadrasana 2. Hands to hips, heel toe your feet in, and make your way to your seat. If you have a folded blanket, let's go ahead and bring that, as we'll just quickly pass through Agni Stambhasana, fire log pose. So if you can get on the blanket, scoot to the very edge of it. Let's cross our right leg in front, just so we're all on the same page, if that works for you. And you can stay right here. This is already hip work. Maybe you pick up and cradle your right leg, and you could stay here. Maybe you stack the right ankle on top of the left knee, right knee over left ankle. Now, you've only been practicing for nearly 30 minutes, so if the body's still tight, that's okay. Go easy on yourself. You might stack a block under your right thigh, or you might just let the leg hang out. We'll just be here for 3 more full breaths. And as you're ready, release. Switch the cross of your legs. You can choose to stay just like this, or maybe you lift and rock the left leg. And maybe you stack the left ankle on top of the right knee, left knee on top of right ankle. Sit tall wherever you've gone and enjoy a few full breaths. And when you're ready, moving gently, unhook the legs and make your way onto your spine for Shavasana. It might feel good today to put that folded blanket under the crease of your knees. As you land in Shavasana, the spine is long, the legs and arms are long and relaxed. Breathe deeply as you soften the body onto the earth. The quote I'll offer today comes from M.S. Swaminathan. If conservation of natural resources goes wrong, nothing else will go right. If conservation of natural resources goes wrong, nothing else will go right. close this 30-minute practice, return to your easy seat. And sitting tall, breathing fully as you arrive. If you'd like to chant Om, draw your hands together in front of your heart. Inhale deeply to create this sound of the universe. Thank you for sharing your time and your practice.